Well, welcome to the Social Club. We are here, we are back, and we've got your questions to hashtag Ask the Club. Yes.
Ask the club.
Ask.
Help me out here, Flav.
Right, so fuck the questions. Let's get into the North-South divide. Shall we do that? Just because you live closer to the Queen doesn't mean you speak the Queen's English.
Tory nonsense.
You Tory nonsense. So yeah, we asked you for your questions by the Ball Street Twitter account. You can get onto that at Ball Street. It should be pretty obvious by now. Fair question. Pav at Paddy56 says, do you think Arsenal should rest players for Barca? They will beat us anyway.
Oh, nah, of course not. Of course
Go for
not.
it,
Yeah,
full
go
force.
for it. You know, listen, last time Barcelona came to Arsenal, we beat them.
Yeah.
Right? Messi was playing, and all right, we didn't go on to win the whole thing, and they've probably got a stronger team now with that front three. But no, you go for it. We beat Bayern Munich at home, so you know if we beat Bayern Munich at home 2-0, if we could do a similar thing to Barcelona, who knows? Yeah, I mean, look when Chelsea won the Champions League. Nobody expected them to beat Barcelona. No.
Yeah.
So no. We don't rest players.
I think the problem with Barcelona now, and everyone saw the Messi Suarez penalty. Penalty. Yeah. They have now. I mean, first and foremost, I'll get you. What are your thoughts on that? Was that taking the piss a bit too far?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think,
but in a good way. No, disgraceful.
Well, look, I always want to see players do things I can't on a pitch, but I could do that.
Walk.
And not
Well,
just
you can
that.
take a penalty and score a penalty.
Yeah, but I could also assist. Anyway, look, it doesn't matter. But what I'm saying is that it's a piss take on the opposition who you're facing. You're 3-1 up. It's not that, the game's not dead and buried. Just finish the game off. Don't.
It's funny because
what if they miss it? They look because Arsenal.
And it's funny. I did an interview with Robert Pires on Friday, and I actually asked him about that. And they had. You can see that interview on Arsenal Fan TV. But I asked him about that penalty that him and Thierry Henry, and they messed it up when they did it, and he had a laugh about it. But I agree with Flav. In this case, I think it was a bit disrespectful because, it's kind of like they were. I don't know. It's cool in a way, and in another way, I don't know.
If it wasn't Luis Suarez, I would probably be like, or if I was one of the people who hated Luis Suarez, I'd probably be like, that's a disgusting thing. I just think, I think this is, it should have been, if it was like an exhibition game, you go, wow, how wonderful it all is, but it's a competitive football match. But for me, I think they've evolved to that, they're that good.
I loved it. What was the difference between doing that and doing a Panenka? What is the difference? You just take the piss out of the goal when you do Panenka. What was the difference?
Arsenal take them down a peg or two. I'd love to do that.
It's not going to happen because the
I know it probably ain't going to happen.
I watched that game last night and they were just unreal.
Yeah, mind you, it was Celta Vigo.
No, but they were just unreal though. They were just, and I love to see a team just take the piss out of someone. Don't see it very often as an Everton fan, apart from when people take. But I just thought that was.
Well, I think that's fair enough. But you see what Ottawa did at Rangers up in Scotland this season. So
I'll be perfectly honest.
Yeah, I missed that.
So there was that one. They weren't doing penalties like that, but he was doing kind of rainbow flicks, and they were playing
That's football. It's entertaining.
Of course, right? And you think that's fine, right? But you have to be prepared for the consequences. And the consequences in this instance was him getting smashed to bits every single time he got the ball. They had to take him off to protect him. Yeah. It was like assault. It was amazing to some degree because it is proper like, all right, we're going to sort you out now. But
there was always a lad in school.
If they were doing the same thing to Messi, then I'd say, all right, fair enough.
Yeah, there was a lad in school. I remember and if he's watching, I apologise because I'm going to take the piss out of you. But he was great, like with keepy ups and the flicks and all that.
Schoolyard player.
But he wasn't even a schoolyard player because if you put him, took him out of like a small confined area and put him into actual real football, he just got crippled like everywhere because. But the thing is, and like I say, go back to it. Suarez, Messi, Neymar. I think it's like fucking Pokemon. I think they've got to the point where they're just so all powerful now. They've evolved that much. This is not Charmander kicking about. This is Charizard.
Hold on. The other thing about it was, though, very quickly, sorry. The other thing about it was, it wasn't meant as a snidey thing. It was meant almost as like to give Messi giving a player his opportunity to score. Yeah. That's all it was, and that's what it should be seen as.
Shouldn't Suarez have just taken the penalty?
No, but I don't know. That's their rule. But I think that's what I love. That's the difference why I love Messi and don't necessarily love Ronaldo. Ronaldo would have just took it, and if he'd missed, they would have took the next one. Messi's like, I want to set my mate up for his hat-trick.
Yeah, fair play.
Love that.
So just quickly get back to the Arsenal thing. I think you should absolutely just go for it, because these are the games that you'd exist for. Whether would have been nice if it was the final. But, it doesn't matter. You've got to beat everyone. You've got to beat the best teams in the world.
On the flip side, though, I think Tottenham should just abandon the Europa League, genuinely.
Yeah, absolutely. But that's a question for another day. If you want us to talk about that, use hashtag #AskTheClub, and we'll answer that question the next time Flav's up. Thanks very much for your question, though, Pav. Next question, Axion @ShinAxion says, do you think United have a chance to be in the top 4? I think they've got a chance, but I don't think they will be. What do you reckon, Ped?
No, I said a few weeks ago that I thought Man United would get in the top 4 and Leicester drop out. It only took me about a week. To just decide the complete opposite.
Yeah.
If Man United, I honestly thought, I don't know if it was after the Liverpool game, I honestly thought United were going to do a classic United and go on a run, and Leicester would just steadily drop out of and United take the place. But United have been so poor since that day. They've won a couple of games, done all right, but I think the top 4 is the top 4. It'll change order a few times, and I still haven't got a clue. I hope Tottenham win it now, because I just love the way they play, and they're everything Everton aren't. So, sorry, Rob, but I love the way they play, to be honest. Leicester are just, I don't know, I just don't like Leicester.
Why don't you treat Spurs with the same level of contempt as you do Newcastle?
Because Spurs fans are like us. They don't gloat. They have to live in a city with knobheads. Chelsea fans, Rob. Chelsea fans, Rob. See the way it's automatically went. Chelsea fans.
Yeah, no mention of Tranmere fans.
Because they don't. They are like us. They're not quite long suffering.
Yeah, we've been in the exact same position. I've got an affinity with Everton
without winning
purely
any leagues,
because we've had to live with the likes of you two for so long.
Well, that's it. No, and
you're not bad people, but when it comes to football,
en masse though.
Oh no,
it's a different thing. En masse.
I mean, they need to go.
I'm sure if you met a Nazi on one-on-one, they were all right. But if you meet them in a group, it's a different thing, isn't it?
Just like to point out, as ever, the views of the members of the social club panel do represent themselves, not even their channels, and certainly not the Ball Street YouTube.
To be fair, in Escape to Victory, Max van Schneiden was a sound Nazi, wasn't he? And Schindler was all right as well.
I think it would be a travesty if Man United end up in the Champions League.
Yeah.
It's just so
boring. This will be gutted though, because I've already seen the Champions League training gear for next year.
The Europa League training gear. Yeah, they'll be lucky.
I think, you know what? The only thing I would say though, if they get rid of LVG and Mourinho comes in, all of a sudden they would have a chance of getting him.
Why wouldn't you do it?
Oh, you mean now? If they did it now?
If they did it now, if they got rid of LVG and brought in Mourinho with like 13 games to go, they got a chance.
But that would require each of the 4 teams to lose 4.
The way City are playing at the moment, and with this whole Guardiola thing and that, you could quite easily see them. I mean, they just don't seem to have a defence at the moment.
Yeah, City look at the most vulnerable.
I don't think you can write United out of that top 4 yet.
We've got two more questions to go, and they all kind of link in. So follow me along this train of thought here. So the next question comes from Aidan Brannick, also on Twitter, says, "Are Liverpool's top 4 hopes still alive?" And by the same token, because I'm an eternal optimist. No. Bear me. Hold on for 10 seconds, and then we can go into why.
I honestly don't know if I can.
Into why I'm wrong. If Liverpool have had no striking intent, we've had no creativity up front at all season. You can't judge a 6-0 win over Aston Villa and say that's how good you are, because Aston Villa are shit. They're the worst team I've ever seen, and that was just the worst. They were at home, and the worst thing I've ever seen in my life ever. And I've seen my wife give birth twice, and I've seen, you know what I mean. So I've seen some things I'll never unsee. But I see an Aston Villa. It's not a beautiful. But afterwards, it's beautiful.
I'm surprised you didn't put it on the channel, knowing you.
That's on me.
Free content.
Absolutely. That's behind the paywall. Villa are shy. But if Liverpool can just start scoring some goals, all I'll say is, football's mad. Shit can happen if you start scoring goals and winning football matches. That's all I'll say.
So Man United can't get in the top 4, but you can.
But if they started scoring goals, they don't. But I think they've had Rooney available, they've had Martial
and
available.
Southampton more likely to get in the top four.
Absolutely. But Man United have had their attacking players available all season, and it's not clicked. We haven't had ours, and when we've had ours, we've scored loads of goals. We've scored the most goals in the Premier League in the year so far. I think we've scored 16, which is more than anyone. I think Chelsea scored 15. I think that's how it goes. I don't expect it. I have no expectations on it. I don't think we'll finish in the top four, but I love footy. I'm dead optimistic, so I'm just going to enjoy the ride. Now that's all being said, Ped, there is no chance we're getting in the top four.
No chance. Absolutely no chance. You've said it yourself, Aston Villa. 2 weeks ago, or last week, it was Sunderland and they do 2-2. You said they're just a very average team like us and like a lot of teams. And if anyone's got a chance, like I just said, it's Southampton. 5 out of 6 clean sheets in a row. No one's getting in that top four, let's be honest. I don't even know why you picked that fucking question. So biased.
Yeah.
So biased.
What I would say, though, is with Coutinho and...
We literally had 5 questions.
All right, cool.
So can it go on?
Did I say pronounce Coutinho right?
Coutinho?
Yeah.
No,
With
it's
him
Coutinho,
and
isn't it, Rob?
Sturridge and Firmino in that team.
Firmino. There's no
He's,
Hello.
they do look a completely different team.
Yeah, sound. So last question, and it all feeds in. James Swan at James Swan 88. Name the final top 4 in order and the 3 teams to go down. Spurs.
Okay, Spurs, Leicester, City, Arsenal.
Okay, yeah, cool. Robbie?
I'll actually be honest with my assessment, unlike him, right? Arsenal, Spurs, Leicester, Man City.
I don't know if I kind of would rather us finish second if Arsenal don't win it. I don't think I could cope if Arsenal win the league, and even if we finish second, it would be better for us to finish second and Arsenal below us than that. That would be horrendous.
Okay, sound. Ped? Bear in mind that both of us have been rather vocal in recent weeks about Leicester's
Spurs,
chances.
Arsenal, Leicester, City.
Okay, cool. I'm going to go Arsenal because I've backed them all season and I see no reason not to continue that way. Spurs, City, Leicester. And again, we're going to ask the question in a moment on one of the later segments. Has Leicester's bubble popped? And a lot of that is going to depend on whether it has or has not popped, and we'll know again in the fullness of time. City, yeah, I think they'll either crash out the top 4 completely, or I think they'll finish. They'll finish there. I can't see it either way. Teams to go down:
Villa, Newcastle.
Ooh.
I don't know. I genuinely don't know.
I do.
Go on then.
Villa, Newcastle, Norwich.
Okay. Rob?
Villa, definitely.
Absolutely.
It's hard. Norwich. I hope Norwich don't go down, but...
Just because we like Jack from talking
about
we like
so
Jack.
But, I don't know, but Norwich is the sort of team that could scrap it out and get
I don't think they've got any fight in them.
Norwich...
This is the team that got beat by Aston Villa last week. Just to re-clarify that, yeah.
And I think, you know what, I was thinking Sunderland before, but...
I think Sunderland...
I think they made a couple of good signings and they got...
Fight.
Yeah.
Newcastle are heartless. I watched that game against Chelsea on Saturday and they couldn't give them monkeys. And you've got... What makes it worse is you've got new players who don't care. Yeah. Like John Joe Shelby. Just let the game go past. He doesn't care.
I think I'm going to have to, and I hope they don't go down, say Bournemouth. They've lost their last 2 games. I don't know, when it comes down to the crunch of it, are they going to have... I mean, Newcastle still got quality players, and at home, they're still decent. I think Bournemouth. Those 3.
I did love Villa. I thought we were talking about last week, and we had James Clark from Reed Aston Villa on a number of times, and we said, "Oh, you got to win. Only 8 points from safety now. Maybe this is the corner." And then I've seen them. Nah, just nah. Game over Aston Villa. I'd have had Sunderland in there, but I think the signings that they made, I think Kazri, is it? The guy who played left wing, he looked really good against us the week before. And you've seen Allardyce has just gone out and gone, okay, what do I need to put up, get up and running a mini version of what I normally do? And I need someone who can take set pieces, and I need to just, and get up in people's faces. And I think he could be. He looks like he's going to be that guy for them.
They're organised.
Yeah, get a couple of cripplers in there, get some runners, get some set piece takers. So I think they'll survive. I genuinely don't know. I hope Norwich stay up and I hope Bournemouth stay up. So I think it'll be Villa bottom. I think Newcastle will finish second from bottom, and I think Swansea will get dragged into it. I think Swansea will go down.
Swansea are hovering.
There you go. So there's your thoughts on that. Who do you think are the teams that are going to go down? Who do you think are the teams that are going to finish in top 4? Put them in order in the comments section underneath. Subscribe to the Ball Street YouTube channel. Do it now. There'll be an annotation in the top corner of the screen. Probably. More questions coming next week. Use hashtag AskTheClub. Tweet it to @BallStreet. Thank you very much, and check out the rest of the show.